All right, sample test. We're now on number 5. 5. Suppose you are tossing 2 fair dice and A is rolling a sum of 5, so I'm going to make my grid. They didn't say to make they just say make a sample space, so I'm going to do the grid for the sample space. You can do a different mile, you could do a tree diagram, or you could list all the pairs, but I like to do this in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Boy, that was a horrible 6. And A is rolling a sum of 5, which is 4 and 1, 3 and 2, 2 and 3, 1 and 4. Those are the sum of 5. And B is a 3 or a 4, shows on at least one die. So that's all of those. That's a 3 or 4 showing on this die, and then a 3 or 4 on that die would be these, and there's some overlap here. So now I've done A. I've shown the sample space with those on there. Didn't have to. And then B, what's the probability of B? Which is getting a 3 or a 4. Well, there's 6 and 6 and 6 and 6, but I don't want to count those 4 twice. So 6 times 4 is 24, minus 4 is 20 out of 36. So that's B. C. Not A. A is those 4. Everything that's not A is all the other ones. So 4 from 36 is 32 out of 36. That could be reduced to, 4 goes in there, 8/9 if you wanted. This could be reduced to, see, 4 goes in there, 5/9. Okay, C, D. D said probability of A and B. Probably A and B. That means the overlap. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 that are in both out of the 36, which is 1/9. E. What is the probability of A or B? That means it can be in either A or B or both. If it's in any of them, count them. Or means more of them, count. It doesn't have to be in both, just one or the other. And so there is, if I count all the X's, which are 20, and then any circles that are not X'd, they all are, so that's it. 20 is the answer out of 36, or again, that reduces to 4 goes in there, 5, 4 goes in there, 9, 5/9. F. F. F says probability of A given B. So now we're working out of B. B was all of the X's, so there's 20 of those. How many of those are A? If 20 happened, how many? What's the chances I had an A? Of the X's, all 4 of the A's are there, so that's 4 out of 20, or 1 in 5. So if we know we got a 3 or a 4 showing, then there's a 1/5 chance that we have a sum of 5. That's what that means. G, B given A. So this case, if we know A, if we know that we got a sum of 5, what's the chances that we get a B? Well, how many A's are there? 4. And how many of those A's, what's the chances of having B if we got one of those A's? Well, if we got an A, a circle, then we know we have either a 3 or a 4 showing. So that happens because there's 4 ways that could happen, and all 4 of them have a 3 or 4 in them. So that's 100% for sure going to happen, no question about it. You tell me you got a 3 or a sum of 5, I know you've got either a 3 or a 4 on one of the dice. And that was G, and then H. Are A and B independent? Well, I would compare this one to the probability of A, or this one to the probability of B. Since up here I have the probability of B, which we decided was 5/9, the probability of B is 5/9, which is not equal to the probability of B given A. So since it's not, the probability of changes when we know that, it depends on A. So it's dependent. If the probability changes, it's dependent. Okay. Number 6. Now we've got a game where you draw a random card from a deck of 52. Then you replace the card and draw again. And then draw again. 3 total draws. What's the probability of getting at least one ace? At least one. 1 minus none. Probability of none. We've done that a lot of times, so hopefully you got this now. So it's going to be 1 minus, what's the probability you don't get an ace on the first draw? Well, there's 4 aces, so if we get no aces, that means we have to have 48 cards to choose from, because there's 4 aces out of the 52. And we put it back, so there's going to be 48 on the next draw, and we're going to draw 3 times, so we're going to get that 3 times. So we take 48 divided by 52, take that to the 3rd power, and then go 1 minus that, and we'll get our answer. So on the calculator, that would look like this. 1 minus parenthesis 48 divided by 52, close parenthesis, to the 3rd. And there's a 0.21 or 21% chance that I'll get at least one ace. 1 minus no aces as at least one ace. 6. Done. 7. 7. Let event W be that a woman is elected senator. Let H be the event that the Hispanic is elected president. Oh, should be senator. Both of them should be senator, or both should be president. So that's a little confusing. I'm sorry about that. I think they're supposed to be both president. Sorry. So that's a mistake in my test. So if you're a little bit confused by the senator and president, then that's the problem. So maybe that's why some people were asking questions about that in class. I didn't catch that when we were doing class. So it could be a woman or not a woman. Woman complement. It could be Hispanic or not Hispanic. And the probability of being Hispanic, so that's all of this, is 0.45. Probability of woman and Hispanic is 0.25, so and is 1 box, 0.25. And if we do this, we know that this has to be 0.20 to make that 0.245. W or H, that's 3 boxes, the W's or the H's, and so those got to be 80, which means in here's got to be 20.2 from 0.8, and so this is 0.4, and we can figure out all this has got to be 1. 1.0 is the total of the 4 boxes. So 0.2, 0.4, 0.65, 0.35. And so this has to be 0.60. 40 and 60 is 1.55. 35 and 20 is 55. And so there's the, make a table of the probabilities. I did that. Determine the probability of H complement. It says not H, which is H complement, which is 55. That's B. Well, it says E, but that's the second thing. Then the third one, which it has is A, I don't know why, but anyway. Determine the probability that a man or a person of Hispanic descent is elected president. And this says, or, a person of man or Hispanic. So that's 3 boxes. Man is these two, 40, or Hispanic is these two, but we don't want to count that one again. So we got 40 plus 0.25, 0.65. Probability of a man, woman, complement, or Hispanic is 3 boxes, those 3, 0.65. That's 7. Let's do 8. How many phone numbers are possible if the area code cannot begin with a 0 or a 1 and the local prefix cannot start with a 0 or 1? So you get the area code, 3 numbers, local prefix, 3 numbers, and then 4 numbers. And so if this can't begin with a 0 or a 1, the area code, that leaves only 8 choices for that spot, and then 10, and then 10. And if this can't start with a 0 or 1, that means 8 choices there, 8, 10, 10, and then 10, 10, 10, 10. So we're going to get 8 squared times 10 to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 64 times 10 to the 8th. So 64 with 8 zeros after it. That would be number 8.